We are back with another episode, and we are going to be doing another update video. I feel like it's kind of been feeling like it's been dragging on quite a bit. This project, like these past couple weeks, have been going real slow, at least on my end. It's end of summer, so I'm trying to squeeze in last minute vacations and whatnot because I really haven't taken a whole lot of time away from this car. So I had vacation last weekend and have vacation planned for this weekend. That's why things have been kind of slow, and I've also been working away and chipping away at small little tasks that kind of take a lot of time and sometimes requires parts to be overnighted or wait a couple of days. So things like that are slowing things down, but I've made some very good progress in this video. The rear is pretty much completely bolted in and done, and we basically just have to put the engine in and bolt up some of the accessories, and we can test fire this thing very soon. So let's get into it, and I'll show you what I've been working on lately. So I ended up finishing the quick connectors on my 2.3 liter surge tank. You can see I got these ICT billet 3/8 inch 2.6 AN orb, and these actually go to a quick fitting. And then we also have these Dorman, I think they're Dorman. Yeah, Dorman quick connects 800/082. And if we take a look, well, let me turn on the flashlight real quick and we'll take a look. So I ended up redoing this top portion of the surge tank with all quick connect lines because it's really hard to get tools up there to tighten AN fittings. So you basically just pinch these, and let's see if I can do this with one hand. Let's see if the quick connect holds up to their name. Pretty much, you can see it's coming out. There we go, just like that. And to put it back in, done. So easy. So I'm gonna test the fuel system. I got the relay jumpered. I just tested the pumps. They're all kicking on. I'm gonna leave these electrical connectors undone for now because I just want to test the lift tank, and I want to test filling the surge tank, making sure there's no leaks with this thing. And then once there's no leaks with the surge tank and everything, I'll hook up the rail and the regulator to the main lines up there, and we can run fuel through it and everything and make sure everything is good to go. I've also had this jug of E85 sitting for probably, I guess, 8 months now. Stored, sealed. It was exactly 85% when I filled it up at the gas station. So I put some in my tester. Well, let's take a look at what percent we're looking at and if it sucked up any water or not. I think it looks like it's pretty good quality, and it smells like E85. So pretty much still right at exactly 85%. Pretty happy with this. Well, at least my storage procedure. We're gonna let all these bubbles float out, but it looks like it stayed very, very consistent and very true. So pretty happy with how the storage worked out on that thing. So I'm probably gonna put half of that in the gas tank soon because I wanna test the entire fuel system before I torque any of this, because I don't wanna torque all this with the new OEM Volvo bolts at Red Thread Locker and then find a leak and have to drop the whole subframe again. I don't wanna waste those bolts. They're not that cheap and they're kinda hard to get. So let's fill this up, turn on the lift pump, turn on the surge tank, and see if anything leaks. What I'm probably gonna do is just put the injectors in the intake manifold, secure them so they can't pop out, and then just hook up the intake manifold with the regulator and everything to the front without the engine. Just lay it on something just so I can pressure test the system for now. And if that passes, then we're gonna be torquing this baby up and the rear's done. So I'm testing the fuel system. All I did was basically loop the feed and return, and I'm just powering it off this power pump or power pack. So let's turn it on and take a listen. It's working. No leaks. You can hear we got like steady flow, nothing's leaking up there. So I say our fuel system's definitely ready to go. The only reason that I wanted to test this is because I wanted to test it before putting on all the new bolts and everything and just making sure there's no leaks. I think I might, well, I might hook up the regulator, but I might not because it should should be fine without the regulator, I would think. Because really there's only gonna be pressure on the feed side, but I guess I'll hook it up and make sure it's all good, but nothing's leaking so far. Got the old pressure regulator hooked up, literally just right in, right out. Fired her up, and she's holding 40 pounds right now, no problem. I don't think anything's leaking yet. Don't really see anything. So, looks good to me. Fuel system is tested and we got no leaks, so we are ready to do the final install on the subframe. I also ended up pressure bleeding all 4 corners. I completely flushed the fluid and I replaced it with some Modal RB, I think it's RB 600. RBF 600. I bought 3 bottles of this. It took 1 bottle to fully bleed the brakes and get them all flushed. I'm probably gonna put another bottle in and do another flush. And then I also have 1 more bottle to bleed the clutch with, and I might order another bottle because the clutch takes a lot to bleed. But it does, the power bleeder makes the clutch so much easier to bleed. But I mainly wanted to do this because I wanted to make sure my little brake union up here, it's up there, you can't really see it, and all these lines and everything, and all my new lines and calipers and everything all bled up before I did the final torquing of the subframe. Because in order to get to the lines around here, you have to untorque this bolt and these front trailing arm bolts here, and I didn't want to have to do that after I just put in the brand new ones. So at this point, I'm going to go ahead and fully torque the rear subframe and completely button everything up. We got no leaks in the rear diff, no brake leaks, and no fuel leaks, and I'm a happy camper when I got no leaks, and I made sure to take every precaution when installing all this stuff to make sure I wouldn't get any leaks, and it paid off. So pretty happy and gonna keep moving along. I'm working on pressure testing the coolant system. This is always something I like to do before putting the engine in. You can see I just got this looped. I got the radiator hoses on with these little caps in them that I got from Lowe's on both sides. And we also got the reservoir on. We got the reservoir plugged up, the screwdriver. Literally just plug everything you can out with random stuff you find around the shop. And then we have the air pump hooked up to it. It's been holding about 10 PSI for a little bit now. So I don't think there's any leaks. I can't hear anything. I don't hear anything leaking from around the crack area or the water pipe or anything. So we're looking really good. Again, I'm gonna be running Evans waterless coolant in this, so there's actually not gonna be any cooling system pressure, maybe like a couple of pounds. So I figure let's test it at 10 or 12 pounds, and if it holds that, we should have no issues with this thing, you know, leaking. And I don't know, I'm gonna let it leak down for another 5 or 10 minutes. See if it goes down at all. But I mean, it's holding pretty good at 10. So yeah, I'm gonna let that leak down and hopefully nothing pops up. So I ended up spending probably a good 6 hours redoing my entire coil on plug harness. All new loom, all new tape, just cleaned everything up, and I completely redid the entire engine harness. I literally spent, it had to have been half a day on this. I've been going for at least 6 hours. You can see, I still gotta clean up a couple areas like here, put some tape on there. But I mean, I did everything in that like stretchy fabric stuff or whatever it's called. Gotta clean up a couple more areas over here. I also replaced a bunch of plugs. I replaced a plug here. Basically those bullet plugs, they always get messed up. And this one, of course, I still gotta put some sheathing on that, but pretty happy with how everything came out. All right, so after testing the fuel system and both the brake system, I didn't have any leaks. So I went ahead and I torqued all of the viscous coupler bolts, so the bolts here, torqued the bolt here, torqued the fuel tank bolts on each side. I torqued all of the front trailing arm bolts, that means these 3 and this one. I also torqued all the subframe bolts. You can see we got on brand new Volvo ones with the red thread locker. We got the fuel filter torqued up real nicely. I just got the surge tank fully torqued up and bolted up. So we pretty much have everything ready to go under here the fuel system's tested, the brake line system tested, there's no leaks, everything rotates, no problems. And everything fuel system related is bolted up, and viscous coupler and all of the stuff over here as well. So at this point, the rear is completely done. And I also have all the electronics and the fuel cover, the old fuel cover door all bolted up. You can see the electronics running up there to the door. So that's completely done. And I'm gonna finish up the center console. And then we're pretty much done on the inside and the outside. I also did the parking brake stuff, which I'll show next. Parking brake cable basically just comes in this hole down here, and you got this rubber boot as well. Well, there's a little clamp or a little strap here, and then it goes up into the parking brake. I already put the center console in, so I can't really show how it clips into there, but it's pretty straightforward. Got that done on both sides, and you can see we got our center console fully back in. No radio. Eventually I want to put the carpeting back in here because last year I had a heater core failure and it kind of ruined the carpet, so I need to get it cleaned, and then eventually I can get all the carpet back in here. But the interior is done for now as well. And at this point, you know, pretty much from the firewall back is all completely done. Just got to put in the axle nuts. Not sure if I'm going to use these Volvo ones that go in the front, because you can see they don't go all the way through, but they actually have more thread engagement than these, which are the OEM ones. I'm probably just going to use these. I mean, it's not going to get, you know, up to the lock part, but these don't look to be lock nuts either. I mean, it's 88 foot-pounds on like 60 degrees, so there's going to be so much torque on that. It's not going anywhere. I want to get all new lug bolts too, because some of these are nasty. But other than that, we just need to shift our attention to put a video out last week on this. Just got to get it sealed, just put sealant on it and fully bolt it down. And then, yeah, the system, the oil system is going to fit pretty well too. You can see that pretty much screws on, and we'll get something like that bolted up and finalized. Got the angle gear fully assembled. I got all these bolts torqued, 24 and 10 pound-feet, and I got the preload adjustment nut torqued to 85 newton meters. I checked the backlash, it's still 5/1000ths. I put this little breather thing on up here. I actually even kind of pressure tested the system. I basically just blew in through here, blocked this off with my finger, and blocked the drain off with my finger too. And the entire unit built pressure, and none of the seals were leaking, so we are good to go on this thing, and this thing is fully done. I'm about to go cross it off my checklist because it's been on there for so long. The last couple things I wanted to get done this week. Get our filter on. You can see we got no clearance issues. I just got one bolt in here, or one nut on that stud, and you can see what we're working with the oil pump. It's pretty close to this line, but it's not actually touching. You can see it's got a good amount of room. It actually fits perfectly in there and kind of wraps around that line. I think hard mounting this is going to be perfect. Another thing to take note is I don't think there's going to be a lot of issues with contact around here, because these poly mounts are very stiff. I don't think the engine's going to be moving down too much. You can see, I mean, you can't even move it. It's basically solidly mounted. Everything is in pretty well. Pretty happy with how that oil system worked out. You can see it just barely clears my plywood. It's kind of tricky getting it in. You do have to well, basically, you have to take the oil pump off of here in order to get the unit in and kind of move it to the side. I don't think there's going to be any issues with doing that, because it's not like oil is going to be pushed out of this pump and leak out of here, because you have to remember that you know, this is a diaphragm valve, so it would have to be pretty hard for that oil to leak through. So not worried about that. It probably comes out, I mean, even taking it out the bottom, I think you're gonna have to undo this, because you can see just how close the pump is to these lines here. I could probably put it somewhere else, but I really like how compact and out of the way it is right here. It's not gonna be in, you know, the way of the oil drain, which actually runs over top of this. It's not gonna be in the way of the downpipe, and it's just gonna be mounted as close as possible. So I'm okay with having to undo one of these just to get the unit out. And I do have little AN caps I put on there to make sure nothing leaks out, but we're gonna end up filling this unit with about 0.75 to 1 liters of oil. That's what I calculated in my CAD model. That would put it basically right here on the level. So to make sure that the ring gear is fully submerged. No problems there. Other than that, I mean, the rear is completely done. So we just have to basically put in the new ARP studs. I'm gonna have to trim them down a little bit, so I'll do that. And then put in the sleeve. And once this is on and torqued in, we'll fill it with oil and test the lubrication system, but I don't think we'll have any problems. And after that, it's the exhaust manifold, put on the oil drain. I got a turbo blanket, build the downpipe, and we are ready to go. So really close here. Hopefully the next video you guys see is the startup video. And I'm gonna call it about here because I'm just running out of time this week and I am leaving for vacation tomorrow, which is Thursday evening I'm leaving. So this is the last time I'm gonna be able to work on the car until probably Tuesday of next week. So really excited about the progress and everything is really looking awesome so far.